Hello, and welcome to the Sunday night sessions with you, where we gather art from other Perichoretes all over the world and share it with you. Tonight, we are joined by Otto Osip Ochs. He's a sculptor and an author living in Hammond, Louisiana. You know, life ain't always easy, and he explains this in The Chocolate Beggars, a novelization of his experience as a refugee in East Germany after World War II and during the rise of the Soviets. He's going to read us a couple of excerpts and share a few of his ideas on what art means to him.
Wars will go on. We've had wars since the dawn of civilization and human conflict, but I believe that war will never crush the artistic, creative soul. I do sculpture in wood, which is a different visual thing, and I write poetry or prose. So I believe art is very important to human well-being and to the hope of a better world. The title, The Chocolate Beggars, comes from when we were kids in the refugee camps. The Americans controlled that sector, Bavaria, southern Germany. And in the summer, we would get up real early in the morning and walk to the river. There was a beautiful river. And we walked to the river and watched the Americans sleep in their sleeping bags. And we knew they had three things. They had Hershey chocolates, saltine crackers, and Wrigley's chewing gum. So we would go down maybe 6 feet from them and kneel down, and we would say, American, chocolate please, chocolate bitte, give us chocolates. And they always gave us some chocolate, a couple of saltine crackers, and some chewing gum. And when we had that, we were in hog heaven. My name is Otto Osip Ochs, and I've written an autobiographical novel. It's called The Chocolate Beggars, Life in a Refugee Camp. Chapter 1, paragraph 1. I am her son with a gift. I'm not sure what it is, but I know that I'm not a harbinger of death, and my joys and sufferings are not mine alone, but hers also. But someone just killed her cat, and we live in a time after a war that many call the Great Horror, the Shoah, Holocaust War. But now we are slowly fleshing out a bit. We are almost recognizable as human beings, but there are those who are still lusting after blood, feeding off the dark residue of war. They choose to ignore the living world and cling to what was promised but never delivered. They are the ones who killed her cat, and she tells herself that she cannot be manipulated by their fear tactics, or she will lose herself completely to despair. Chapter 2. After a meager Christmas of no gifts, but a Christmas with moonlight making the snowy fields sparkle like a countless flock of illuminated miniature wings, all full of the light spectrum, January 1950 is a cold month. The potato cellar, hastily built for war use, is a mass of crystallized mud and the potatoes in it glistening potato shapes of ice. She digs among the ruined potatoes, hoping to find a few that are good enough to boil. She pierces her hands into the frozen crust and finds a few that are not totally a mere mass of ice. Chapter 49. My brother's intensity to survive his past and his musical skills give him the ability to mean every word of silent night, holy night, all is. And when the song ends, his face shines as he sees his mother smile, and he knows that it is for him and only for him. This smile of her erases all their pain that was forced on them in the time when there was just two of them, alone in a bombed-out city, not knowing what to do, where to go, scavenging for food, clothing, and shelter as the armies from the north and from the south feverishly race towards one another. And he wears his sweater like a priest wears his cross. Now he hears voices coming down from the sky. Once upon a time there was snow flurries sweeter than cotton candy. Once there were mornings when all the children went into the blue like a millennium of hummingbirds. Once there was a life in balance. Once there was time when faith and reason were twins. Once upon a time everyone was awake and the lion slept with the lamb. The empty rooms gave up their secrets. This is one by one the ash bearers, my fellow classmates, enter the chilly classroom with all that is mysterious of that particular sacredness in their world, the world of ash and Lent, because last night they revealed along with the grown-ups at the ball and acted if nothing was sad or frightening, a celebration of life and happiness. Now each ash bearer stares contemplatively. Even those without ashes are drawn into their own solemn sacredness, or just the mere confusion of what it all means. And simply to have ashes means something had to burn up. Chapter 63. Instead of making moonshine, we bought over a dozen large, white, red-eyed rabbits and has them pinned in chicken wire in salvaged wood cages. The fur rabbits is whiter than any fresh snow, and their red eyes are a different blood red than the blood drops on the crucifixes nailed to the pines in the small chapel outside of the village, where our friends were buried, those that drowned in the murky green lake water. I have not forgotten how the heavy rain quickly filled the graves and that frantic scurrying by the earthworms. The rabbits in their cages do not move a muscle. They know something is up. This is chapter 71. On the last day of June, all day, I hear an eerie voice. These are the days like the days of poor mad Ophelia. I hear the words, but I'm not sure what they all mean. I'm not sure who Ophelia was and what brought on her madness. The refugees now have become immigrants, are leaving for another country. Daily they empty their rooms, they will never return. His friend left last night and he stayed drunk all weekend, but it is Monday morning and he cranks up his motorbike and drives off to his construction site across the river. And the river knows he is crossing the bridge. It knows what's going on, and he knows that he can never break his burden to be a worker, even in America, no matter what condition he is in, even when he feels haunted by all those faces in the photographs under his bed. And he knows that the river knows, and those photographs will never die in his head. And I will end with this paragraph and poem that's incorporated in this novel. The summer night is calm, and it is a summer night without seeing her on the stone veranda. And I sadly enter the camp, and with heavy breath, I slip along the dark midnight side of the barracks. I slip into our apartment that is empty, an empty, cold cage. And I slip into bed and into an odd and strange yearning for love, with my blood pulsing strangely below my belly button, producing fragments of sentences, and they run into broken poetic lines that ask, is it the spirit of time, time before eyes opened and I running, dreaming, remembering the grinding wheel, remembering the river's pain, the free zone where we were happy, those ill-clad children, hundreds of them all night, among the stars, among the wild scents of war, among the flowered virgin girls, roped in wildflower crowns, somber and winter horses, escaping the painter's canvas. Then the gathering of women and the fire and their love as wild as the war, their laughter as wild as any birth, in the world as naked as the dreaming eyelids, Then all those empty rooms explode in wings of natural light. Then all those empty rooms explode in wings of natural light. They explode. I hear them all. The kind once warned, the babber sings for once and is not afraid. And here comes the white horses and the 3 daughters. The mandolin player kisses his wife. They wave to the harmonica orphan from the sunny hill. Picnic baskets are full, enormous embraces, a zone of peace. Thank you very much.